I'm off the screen. That's a great start. Hello. We're back for the first in-season. Still off the screen. Never mind.
You are. Still, budge up.
Budge up. There we go.
We're all friends here.
Great start.
Shoulder to shoulder. Here we go.
Okay.
We're here for the first in-season, technically, show of the LOC Report, no less on kickoff day itself. What a day to be alive.
Yeah.
We're here for the LOC Report, the draft nostalgia and week one show. Packed show today, so we can't go too deep on too much. Not too early, because we don't want to make this like a 2-hour show. No. We've got a lot to talk about, so we're going to do this a bit skew-iffy compared to our normal in-season shows, where we obviously delve into the news and last week and so on. This time we're going to skip the news, go straight into the draft recap.
Okay.
I like it.
Go back to the news, then the power rankings, then the week one previews.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so a bit of a weird order, but it's going to be a good show, don't you worry. But first, we can't skip over the introductions. That is the staple of every show. I'm here with co-host Chris Leach and Coach Merritt. First appearance in person on the podcast.
Hello, YouTube. It's my first live one.
Yeah. How's it going, fellas?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Very good. I'm nice and unemployed, so looking forward to watching the games. Because I've got.
You say unemployed, technically you're a student.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's the difference?
Yeah, what is the difference? I can still...
Life's questions that won't be answered on today's episode of the LOC Report, but somewhere probably
At least I suppose if you're a student, you're attaining towards something. At least if you're totally unemployed...
You're going for future employment.
Indeed. Yeah. If you're totally unemployed, then you're just...
You're a northerner. Yeah.
Let's just say I've got nothing to wake up for on Monday at 9 AM, so I'll be watching the game until pretty late, so...
Oh, okay.
Looking forward to it.
Well, myself, I have every Monday morning off for the rest of the year. So I will be. Wow. I won't have the late games, but I'll be able to stay up for the second wave as it is. So, yeah,
that's pretty mega.
It's gonna
dedication.
Be yeah. More. I have so much holiday left that I need to use somewhere. I thought I may as well use it for this because why be tired on a Monday morning when I can do this? So you know what I mean.
I got no holiday left, so I just got to power through.
Yeah, unfortunately. At least you don't live too far away from here, so not a long trip back.
I don't. That's true.
But I this time I'd suggest not leaving halfway through the games.
No.
Yeah. That's
just based on what happened last time.
And Ross.
If you don't know about this, we did leave at the end of the third quarter of the Super Bowl.
Ross, I think, left at half time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, no one knew what was going to happen.
No, but if there's any sport, I think, or one of any sports that you don't leave or you don't say never, so to speak.
Yeah.
American football is definitely one of them.
I must admit, the best sporting trial I've ever seen in my life is the 2012 Ryder Cup. That's amazing. The miracle at Medina.
Miracle at Medina.
Yes, and it was a miracle.
Golf is dull, though.
That's it. That wasn't. That was 1 minute which wasn't dull. Maybe the Champions League final where Liverpool was in it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Man City winning the league
title
in 2012.
Yeah, that's it. There's plenty of them.
Yeah.
But I think in American sports, there's very few that I can think of.
Well, you've got the Miracle on Ice, I guess, although that kind of wasn't a comeback, I suppose.
No.
I can't think of many either. I'm sure there have been some, but yeah.
Not in my lifetime, anyway.
No. Well, I seem to remember there was a game in the 70s between the Dolphins and the Jets. I think it was 70s or 80s. The Dolphins were down... No, the Jets were down massively in, the third quarter, and they came back and hung, over 20 points and came back to win the game. So you get these big comebacks every now and then. In American football, certainly. Baseball, I don't really know all the other sports. But hey, long show. Let's not dwell on this any longer. He's not going to leave another game halfway through in his life.
No, not going to happen.
And we will get straight into the draft.
Yeah.
Looking back at the draft. So what we're going to do is fill your arm with your phone. If I could ask Chris's as well. Chris, maybe if you could take down... round by round, so we're going to do pretty much what we did for the 2016 mock draft recap. We're going to go round by round, picking our favourite and least favourite pick from each round.
Okay.
Then we'll say at the end what our favourite and least favourite of the draft is, which, it's kind of hard at this point to do when we don't know how it's turning out, but based on the value and whatever, we'll do that. Then we'll take a quick look at team by team, and again, maybe at the end we'll say our favourite team and our least favourite team. Then we'll go into the power rankings, and into week one and the news and such. So, but first off, we'll just go round by round. So Chris is just about to get notes up. So, in a second when we contract. So I'll read out the first round and then we'll do a little analysis. So, very first pick of the draft was David Johnson to Southampton Narwhals, Le'Veon Bell to Gridiron Gang, Antonio Brown to Tom's Tyrants, LaShawn McCoy to Forge Flyers, Devontae Freeman to Bare Necessities, Melvin Gordon to The Detonators, AJ Green to ADRZ, 8 was Julio Jones to Pakistan, Jay Ajayi to Cash for Gold, Ezekiel Elliott to Ixan, Odell Beckham Jr. to the Dream Team, and Mike Evans to Tank McTankface. Now, obviously take this point to say that ADRZ was an auto-drafted team. Unfortunately, Nige could not make it. In some ways, it was a run-of-the-mill first round, and in other ways, not so much. I'm going to draw first the attention. I think the first 4 picks relatively stable. LaShawn McCoy, maybe not the most expected 4th pick, but I don't think it's something too out of kilter.
No.
But I think the first really one which kind of set the shape of the first round, I almost think, was 5 Devontae Freeman to Bare Necessities. What did you make of that pick?
I think Devontae Freeman's a solid running back. However,
yeah.
I think in years gone by, the offense has really worked in his favour. Yes, the Tevin Coleman's been there, but he's always kind of been the lead guy. But I think the running backs in the first round are few and far between, and I think that reliable running backs are few and far between as well. And you've got to be able to take them early.
Well, this is the thing with a lot of drafting this year, kind of similar to last year, but not quite to the same degree. A lot of receivers were predicted to go in the first round, and not just in the first round, relatively high in the first round. So Brown went at 3. Then you could make a case in a lot of drafts that Julio Jones, Odell Beckham would be the very next off the board. And then you could again make a further case that guys like AJ Green and even Mike Evans could follow the board after that. So for really it to go Sean McCoy, which I think we're in agreement was fine at 4, but then Devontae Freeman, Melvin Gordon. Then we got some receivers, AJ Green, Julio Jones falling all the way to 8. Then we had Jay Ajayi, Ezekiel Elliott again. It was quite a running back dominated first round.
Yeah.
Set expectations.
I mean, Freeman carries quite a bit of risk at that position at 4. I mean, it's quite difficult, really. I mean, there are the running backs. There are obviously the 2 clear options at the top, but the rest of them, they do carry quite a bit of risk. They're not your standard free down backs.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is a case for Freeman going there, but possibly the safer option would have been probably the wide receiver.
Yeah,
and then,
wide receiver.
If not, I do think that DeMarco Murray. It was a surprise that he did not go in that first round.
Yeah, he did slip. Yeah. The only other thing I'd draw attention to in the first round as well was Ezekiel Elliott, which we knew he wasn't going to go at 3 because of the suspension. However, it was anyone's guess where he would go. I think we said in some shows with the 6-game suspension, we certainly thought second round. Top of the second round was the earliest we'd see it.
Absolutely.
Potentially all the way into maybe even the third. And the pick, in fact, did come in the back end of the first, not quite at the end. Pick number 10 by Coach Sherwood. What do you make of that?
It's a massive gamble. Absolutely a massive gamble.
And bearing in mind at the time, this was before the appeal came down, the decision on that. So it was still very much up in the air how many games exactly he would miss. And then there's obviously still the legal routes he could potentially take, like Brady did, which delayed effectively the suspension for a season.
Yeah.
So we already know he's going to play week 1 because the decision on the appeal didn't happen by a certain point. So
he may play week 2 as well.
Potentially for the similar reason, and that he's filed a restraining order in the courts to try and stay the suspension while it's, I guess, battled out in court. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be as similar as the Brady case, whereas I think the Brady case, it was kind of a bit more vague and ambiguous and all kind of strange, whereas this time it seems a bit more linear. The NFL really took its time to make this decision, and there's already a precedent for the league being allowed to effectively do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
So that's really deep dive and an explanation of everything on the background of it. And on the balance, 6 games without Ezekiel Elliott for the 10th pick.
It's to burn a first round pick for somebody you can only really use for 8 weeks a year.
They've got a bye as well, which obviously wouldn't even count towards the suspension. So you're not looking, and if he's missing sorry, if he's playing week 1, and then maybe week 2, you're not going to get him back. I think their bye is week 7, really until weeks 9, 10.
Yeah.
At that point, you may potentially, you might be done.
That's it, absolutely. And you say, I think as we go through the pod some more, and we see a few picks, I think Ben has gambled a lot on some of his selections. Now, if they come off, and we know that sometimes they do, and sometimes they prove to be right, and if that does mean a make or break, let's say makes the playoffs in the last 4 games of the season because Elliott comes back, then it's going to be justified.
Yeah.
But I think that's a big if.
Yeah.
Like Phil said, if you can use DeMarco Murray for, those other 8 weeks a season, who will get leaned on in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Then I think that's probably a better selection.
And I think for the final thing we need to speak about here is that this really is a gamble because the news that's come out in the last couple of days is that Elliott's been, they've had the suspension upheld, and now he's going to play week 1. He could play possibly week 2, so he's going to be with the bye weeks. He's got even less options now.
Yeah.
Over those couple of weeks, so this is really disaster news already, and we haven't even played a game yet for Coach Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. And say you always look for value in the first round. I don't know about you guys, but I don't see
absolutely, yeah. The first round, I think we always say is, first 5 rounds of the draft, you can't really win the league, but you certainly can lose it by making bad decisions or taking an injury-prone or a pre-injured player.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. Before we move on to the second round, and I promise every round won't be that long. That one was quite spent. It had 2 interesting dynamics in it. The first round often does. Favourite pick and worst pick. Now, favourite's a bit harder, so we'll start with the worst because really a favourite at this point, it's very, it's very linear as what happens. But I think we're all agreed the least favourite is probably Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
Could you punch that into a note?
I can punch that into a note. Can I just go for Jay Ajayi in the first round?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a massive fan of Jay Ajayi. I think
we'll go Elliott stroke Ajayi. Sure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And our favourite pick. Does anyone have a favourite? It's a tough one.
I like.
I think Odell Beckham at 11. I mean, how does Beckham fall to 11?
Absolutely. Yes, it's either Beckham at 11 or Julio at 8.
Yeah.
I think we'll go.
Agreed.
Yeah.
On balance of value, we'll go 8. Yeah, so best pick. Okay, so we'll go to round 2. So round 2 then, right at the top we have DeMarco Murray to Tanking with Tankface, Jordan Howard to the Dream Team, Jordy Nelson to Ixan, Doug Boulder to Cash for Gold, Michael Thomas to Pakistan, Rob Gronkowski to ADRZ, Kareem Hunt to Detonators, Aaron Rodgers to Ben Necessities, Todd Gurley to Forge Flyers, Amari Cooper to Tom's Tyrants, Des Brown to Gridiron Gang, and T.Y. Hilton to the Brady Bunch. Now, I think second round was obviously a lot more stable.
Yeah.
A few things I picked up on, we won't really go into them because they're not majorly crazy. Doug Baldwin going at 16, I think he's worthy. He was slightly undervalued. It was a bit surprising, I think, to see him come off quite that early. That was still in the first half of the second round. But I think as we went through the draft, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, Ollie Gardner was drafting quite a few people he had last year, as we'll see later on.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, it didn't really look that surprising with that in mind. Kareem Hunt, though, we'll just spend a second on this. Kareem Hunt at 19. Now, after the Spencer Ware injury, Hunt obviously really did get pushed up the draft boards because he'd theoretically be the starting running back.
Yeah.
But did you see him coming all the way to the second round?
Do you know what I think so? An Andy Reid offense. Yeah. I think it's absolutely a good move because with Ware going down, they've got to use a running back. They lean on running backs in Kansas City.
Sure.
And he's no doubt he's a talent, and I think that it's worth a second round pick.
Okay.
Simply because there's not that much quality. In the running back field, you look in the first 5 rounds, 6 rounds of mock draft. Well, you've got to be able to draft these guys because after that, there's nobody else.
Yep, sure.
I personally wouldn't have picked him second. It's that rookie. He's a rookie. He's coming into an offense. This is kind first of year. This is the risk factor. So I think he's a little bit high personally, but if there's a gap in your team, you need to fill it. Yeah. What better way to start off with the starting running back?
And the only other thing I'd pick off here, first quarterback off the board, Aaron Rodgers, number 20 overall, which might I add, I just completely nailed in the mock draft. I called it, said Aaron Rodgers would go to my dad. Got it absolutely right. Aaron Rodgers at 20, I don't think it's high. Each year we do see one or two quarterbacks go. These kind of quarterbacks go that high. I think, in fairness, compared to the expert drafters, so the people that do fantasy for a living, you don't see anything like that.
No.
It's a very casual thing to do, but our league's always a bit unique in the way players are valued and everything. So, while it may be a touch early, certainly for some coaches, I wouldn't even consider drafting a quarterback in the second round.
No.
So some do. So.
No, that's it. Absolutely.
So then, before we move on, favourite pick and worst pick of the second round. So, anyway, again, a bit tough to do here because these guys kind of all expected to go in this round, and there was maybe apart from Kareem Hunt, but I think, as Chris said, that there is at least some story behind that to explain why that could be a second rounder.
Yeah.
Any favourites or worst there?
I like where I picked Todd Gurley, to be quite honest with you.
I think that's kind of where he's been going in drafts, which is, they're all solid picks. No one made a mistake. I don't think. No one really shot the moon and got value.
I like the fact that Jordy Nelson went in this round to Ben. I think that Jordy Nelson over the last few years has been woefully underrated. His stats are great, and he should really have been in the first round. I think if you're talking about receivers,
he's kind of tricky because he's not on the same level, I think, as the guys like AJ Green and everything. He's almost in a tier of his own, where he's like above the guys like Michael Thomas and Des Bryant, but underneath that, if you know what I mean. I could see I see why he slipped. I know in previous years he has gone in the first, but I think second round where he went high second made sense. And I really don't think there's a best and worst pick for the second round.
It's difficult.
I don't think
I mean, I like Murray again, getting him in the second round. I did many mock drafts and I didn't get him in the second round at all. So to have him there at 11 was good, and I think that's a good draft.
Yeah.
I think in terms of worst, I have to say I don't like that Rodgers pick.
Put it down. We can't think. Me and Chris don't think anything, but if you've got an idea, we'll put it down.
He's not the guy he used to be when he was stringing together 30 weeks back when he was on the Tuck Fards, winning team every week.
The third round then, we'll go to the third round because we're taking a lot of time. We'll try and keep it speedy, otherwise we are going to be here for 2 hours.
Yes.
First pick of the third round was Tom Brady went to Southampton Normals. Apologies if I said Brady Bunch in the last round. Brandon Cooks to Gridiron Gang, Keenan Allen to Tom's Tyrants, Leonard Fournette to Forge Flyers, Ty Montgomery to Ben Necessities, Carlos Hyde to Bedetonators, Isaiah Crowell to AD Azim, Marshall Lynch to Palestine, Dalvin Cook to Cash God, Lamar Miller to Ixan, CJ Anderson to the Dream Team, and Mark Ingram to Tank Face. Third round's often where we start to veer off the track in the LOC, and I think it's fair to say in most drafts that happens, because it's definitely less cut and dry how the rankings fall. So we'll start at the top briefly. Southampton Normals coach Ross Nunn goes for Brady again. Did well from last year, even with a 4-game suspension, so could arguably even be better on a per-game basis this year.
I think so.
Even with the loss of Julian Edelman, so fair enough, second quarterback off the board. Brandon Cooks falling to the third round. Mild surprise for me. Never in my wildest dreams thought I'd get both him and Des Bryant there.
Yeah.
No.
So quite another, but again, as in the second round, I guess it was just a shuffling of guys how they went. I guess T.Y. Hilton maybe would have been the one that usually goes there. So Brandon Cooks, you might swap them, but really, in reality, it's only about 3 picks of difference.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen was the first kind of reach. I use reach mildly because I think you could make an argument for Keenan Allen going in the third, but let's just see in terms of the other receivers. So he was actually the last receiver to go in this round, and there were some other good receivers on the board at this time. So
then the running back run began again.
The running back run did begin again, yeah. As you point out, we had the rest of the round, so 9 straight running backs in the third round after that. So Fournette, I think that's where he's going. Montgomery, I think that's pretty high. Some sites he goes in the 7th, 8th round. PPR he gets a boost, but in standard, third round was a bit of a reach, I think it's fair to say. We'll come back to that one. We'll just go through the rest. Hyde, third round. Crowell, third round. I think that's understandable. We'll focus on Lynch and Montgomery in a second, I think, because again, Lynch is one of those guys that third round is rich. That's where he's been going in ADP. He's actually been going really at the top of the third round in ADP, which is crazy, but a lot of the experts don't agree with that at all. That's just because he's a household name, and obviously a lot of casual fantasy players like him. Then we had Dalvin Cook, a rookie. Again, I think third round is right based on the ADP and everything. He's going to be the starter the Vikings, no matter what that's worth. Okay, maybe he's going to lose goal line, but he's another exciting rookie. Then Miller in the back of the third round, Anderson and Ingram. So, yeah, we'll circle back to Montgomery and Lynch, who I think we both agree are the two kind of reaches of this.
Oh, yeah.
I'll let you guys, I just did a lot of talking, I'll let you guys do this. So how about you do Montgomery, because you had that first reaction and you had the reaction to Lynch. So tell us each about those guys.
Go on, tell me about
those
Lynch.
picks.
Well, Marshall Lynch has never been a fantasy star. He's been up there. he's never put up the numbers that people like Jamal Charles has.
Yes, he has.
Would you? I would disagree. I mean,
He's been a running back one.
He's been a running back one.
Apart from his last year in Seattle, he was an RB1 pretty much every year.
I agree he's an RB1, but I don't think, his potential, this is beast mode we're talking about, this is the Seattle offense, and I kind of think he's never been a standout running back star. Okay. I know you disagree
get past
with that.
This and continue with
and,
this.
He's been out of the game for a season,
32.
and he's 32.
That's the biggest point.
It's a risk again. In the third round, you want bankers. You want people who are going to bank those points all season long. And Marshall Lynch does present that bit of risk. He could be one of those Andre Johnson picks where his legs give out.
I think that's pretty accurate.
Especially when you got two backs behind him at Oakland who
Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington.
Absolutely. Who obviously has shown very good potential.
So one caveat to explain this pick that the Coach Allen made is that he, at this point, he had Julio Jones and Michael Thomas. Really, he needed to take a running back here.
Yeah.
And obviously, as we already said, by that point, this was the mid running back run in the third round. So he had to take one. Maybe there was some different options on the board. I agree. I think Lamar Miller perhaps would have been a smarter option. He's not sexy. He's not exciting, but he's not going to be retired potentially halfway through the season. So
I think Cook would have probably suited him better.
I think those are the other two who went straight after. I think Ingram and Anderson are definitely more early fourth, late third round options.
I'm not hot on the last four picks.
I think Anderson and Ingram, it's roughly where they went.
Yeah,
in
I think
they were going mainly in the fourth round.
Anderson's
but
better
I
option than Lynch.
with the run that happened, because a lot of those running backs as well, like some of those running backs, like Montgomery, for example, he got pushed up. He's usually fourth round is kind of where sometimes he goes. Again, Cook is one that can be in the fourth round. Lynch again, I'd say, So I think that was just it was just a case of those guys getting pushed up more than anything. But okay, that's and you're going to do Montgomery before we move on.
I think Montgomery's a good set of hands. I don't think he's necessarily a running back per se. The three down pounder. He ain't that guy. I think that Green Bay will probably end up the same way as Detroit this year. They've got a good pass catching back. Montgomery's that guy. They've got Jamal Williams behind him, who's absolutely ready to go. By the looks of preseason, he looks great. He's not a necessarily locked in starter. I think he was probably start the season, but maybe get found out for being what he's not later on in the year.
Yeah, last year he obviously had that role just because of injury. There was no one else. This year, they've drafted a few guys. Okay, they're not too hot on them, but I think you really hit on the net. I think last year, even in the midst of having no running backs, they still never gave him more than 15 carries a game.
That's the thing.
When they literally had no one else. And that's not going to change. Okay, I think he's bulked up a bit in the off-season, but it's a guy that's learning a completely new position. He's been a wide receiver all the way from probably Pee-wee football.
Yeah.
And now he's learning how to pass block and take on linebackers, and obviously his frame has been a receiver, so it's a massive risk in the third round.
Totally, and especially when you've got a team like Green Bay, who you've got Aaron Rodgers, you've got 3 quality receivers, and now a quality tight end.
And you've got John Kuhn. I mean,
no, he's in New Orleans.
He's New Orleans now. Sorry, I do apologise.
That's it. He's adding to all the problems in New Orleans in the running back department. So that backfield's a mess.
Right. So before we move on, then we'll do a best and a worst pick. So worst pick, we know it's going to be one of Lynch and Montgomery. Have we got least favourite?
I don't like Montgomery.
I think Montgomery just based on, in terms of ADP, where they've been going in drafts, really.
Yeah.
He was a lot higher. Lynch, okay, his is pushed up. It shouldn't be in the third round, but it is.
Agreed.
So I think from that standpoint, Montgomery, and then favourite. Does anyone have a favourite here?
I like Brandon Cooks where he is.
Yeah,
I think that's a steal.
I agree.
With the Edelman injury, I mean, this is kind of where he's been going, all off season, which has been high. Everyone's saying it's really high, but with the Edelman injury, that frees up the most targeted receiver in the Patriots offense.
When you're in quite. That's when you're in an offense like that, and there's absolutely no guarantee Gronk's going to be available all year.
No.
Yeah.
That's very true.
It's it.
So, yeah, cool. Nailed that down. Fourth round then.
100%.
Fourth round. So, Alshon Jeffrey to Tank Face, Drew Brees to the Dream Team, Travis Kelce to Ixan, Latavius Bryant to Cash for Gold, Christian McCaffrey to Palestine, DeAndre Hopkins to Aziz Stephon Diggs to Badednatus, Tyreek Hill to Ben Necessities, Terrell Pryor to Forge Flyers, Doug Martin to Thomas Tyrants, Demarius Thomas to Gridiron Gang, and Alan Robinson to Southampton Narwhals. So we'll start at the top.
Ooh.
Again, we try not to go too deep. Every round we say we won't, and we will. We have been. Let's try not to do it this round. So Jeffrey, the first pick of the fourth round, I like that.
Yep.
Based on the upside, I think he's really been a third round guy most of the off season,
Cool.
and he got pushed out. Obviously, people are scared of the injury stuff, but when he's on the field,
He's a quality.
He's quality.
Yeah.
Player, so it's a good pick. Yeah, by Phil. Breeze in the fourth. Yep.
Yeah.
It's normal. Kelsey, Brian in the fourth, where he's been going. When he's been on the field for the Steelers, he's been a game changer.
That's the thing. That's the thing with
It's
him.
risky.
I always get it. With Martavis Bryant, it's up here.
I mean, he has
It's
the
all up
potential. He really does have the potential to put on a stack of points in a game, but equally he can be a big bust. I mean, it varies week to week. As a former Martavis Bryant owner, I can say with added experience in that one.
Yeah.
McCaffrey, then in the fifth pick, that's actually quite low for where he's been. He's really been going in the third round. So I think we talk about Pat takes Lynch slightly higher than we'd like, but he gets McCaffrey a bit of a value. So I think in a way it balances out. But the jury is really out. Again, one of these players that's really been pushed up just because of the name value as opposed to nobody really knows.
I'm not convinced, folks.
No. DeAndre Hopkins, then the sixth pick. I think that's a great pick. Great pick because he's a guy that's been going in the third round.
Yep.
Okay, he had a really down year, but he had Brock Osweiler throwing to him, which is you may as well have your punter throwing to you at that point. So it can only even with Brian Hoyer and Ryan Mallett, he had a really nice season in 2015. Yeah. So I think that's a great value there. Diggs.
Diggs is. I like Diggs. I think that Diggs is woefully underrated.
But it's the quarterback situation, isn't it? Sam Bradford.
I just worry because it's that kind of. Last year it was a hyper efficient offense. It's not a pass happy attack. The Minnesota predominantly a good defense, ground and pound, grind out a win. And I feel like there's a lot of mouths to feed in the Vikings. It kind of goes under the radar. They've got
Thielen, they've got Rudolph, they've got
Diggs, and then they've obviously got Laquan Treadwell, who was the first round. Okay, he barely did anything last year, but you think he's going to at least get a little bit more of whatever he's got this year. Then you've got the running backs. You've got Latavius Murray, Dalvin Cook. Don't forget they've still got
Jarrett
McKinnon. It's a lot of mouths to feed, and Diggs really, he got a lot of catches. He's definitely a good PPR receiver, but
I don't know.
Standard.
The number one thing about Minnesota this year, and you'll see that a lot of their players are valued as such, is that they have got the number one strength of schedule anywhere.
Yeah, it's true.
Number one.
Yeah.
But so even with Sam Bradford, all of the targets, they're still going to have the hyper efficient offense against pretty weak defenses. So I think that's one to look out for. The jury's certainly out, as you've seen here.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty convinced that's a good pick.
Yeah. So the next, so Tyreek Hill came after that, but I think that's pretty much where he's going.
Right, Tyreek Hill, good player.
We'll see. Good player, whether it translates or not into a number one receiver, we'll see.
In fact, Alex Smith's got to throw more than 10 yards.
Exactly.
It's true.
Yeah. So, can he, though? That's it's not a question of will he or not, it's whether he can he. If he does, he's going to. Whether it works or not is a completely different thing entirely.
He might have to tonight.
So the next four the next four things then, picks, Pryor. Here, love that pick. Pryor was a guy, again, that's been going in the third round. and he fell nearly out.
Still
of
with
the fourth.
He's still with the Browns.
No, he's at the Redskins.
He's at the Redskins.
Number one wide receiver now that obviously Jackson and Garcon have gone.
Yeah.
So,
with Big Kirk and Jordan Reed's concussion, it's going to be good.
Yeah. The other one here is Doug Martin, third pick from the end of the fourth round.
It's
suspended 3 games. I think he has been going in the 5th round in some drafts.
Not the player he was.
It's tough.
Say, I mean, he's been rather inconsistent. He's been out of injury. He's now off the field.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, probably right because he's still the number 1 running back. But
sure.
It's again risky.
And again, Tom Sarrance, much like me, and we'll see in a bit, needed a running back.
Oh yeah.
We don't want to go for 4 weeks now.
No,
that's your issue.
Starting running back.
You couldn't have known that in a week ago.
Yeah. The game, which we're covering in the news, obviously got moved out, and he's still got that suspension on top of that.
So again,
on the plus side, no bye week after this, but
yeah,
it's another week without him. So Demaryius Thomas then at pick 47, second from last. Stunning. He fell here.
That's about that's the faith in the Denver offense.
That's it.
That he was able to perform last season.
Well, you say that he was still a top 20 wide receiver.
Yeah, I agree. I think Demaryius Thomas is one of those guys. This season's going to have a really solid floor, but not going to be.
This is the thing. He's a consistent guy. The thing that really sold me on him and was like, I had my jaw hitting the floor. Like I couldn't believe someone hadn't taken him already. Was just that consistency. Okay, he's not sexy.
Yeah.
He's like the receiving version of Lamar Miller almost. He's not sexy, but
yes.
he's almost a lock as long as he's healthy. For 90 catches and 1,000 yards.
Oh yeah,
always there.
Yeah, it's
so which and there are very few locks outside of injury in fantasy football. Yeah. So
I'm with you. I think had I have not taken prior where I did, I probably would have looked at him.
Yeah.
Because you just want solid. Yeah. That's what you want in fantasy. You want if someone said to you every week, yeah, your wide receiver scored 10 points. I'll take that now.
Yeah.
I'll take that now.
Thomas isn't quite at that rate. I think last year he was more around the, I think it was 140, 150, which isn't far off 10. It's like 9, right? So, pretty consistent. And the last one then, Allen Robinson.
Oh, man.
He's been a tough one to gauge all off-season because last year we saw him going in the 2nd round. This year he started off in the 3rd round, but really, Blake Bortles played so badly.
Yeah.
He dropped, and he's actually going in the 5th round in a lot of drafts.
I think that, you're the Jags fan. Go on, Phil.
Well, this is a man who has incredible talent. He's a
no doubt, no one's
red
questioning
zone
his talent. Yeah.
But just like Demaryius Thomas, it's a cruel sort of.
I think it's worse
thumbs
than
down to
Denver could still move the ball.
There are some. Big size holes appearing in the Jags offense. We haven't even played a game yet. Most certainly with the QBs, but also in terms of the O-line as well. And that's gonna be tricky. First game up against Houston, with that that defensive line playing in a game after the first game back after Hurricane Harvey hit the city. That's going to be tough, and it's going to, there are going to be lots of games like that.
I think the thing you're hoping for with Robinson is really the way he had success and the way the Jags offense had success, fantasy-wise, in 2015 was garbage time.
Yes.
They were losing by so much that they had to go out and just air it out almost every play in the second half. Even that was the case last year, and it's still, it just didn't work for them last year. And this year, the problem is they've got the good defense now. They're not going to need to air it. If it's a low gritty game, they're not going to be airing it out.
Exactly.
And if they're poor, even when they're not airing it out.
Exactly. Now, it's interesting what you said about Minnesota earlier on, because I think the Jags will end up doing exactly the same thing.
Grinding out the wins.
Grinding out wins, blind D, ground and pounding with Fournette. They're going to get him to move the ball. They're not going to get the receivers with all because Chad Henne ain't that guy.
No, yeah.
Chad Henne and Blake Bortles is so badly out of nick that and no one's going to want to play him. No. Also, on top of that, Allen Robinson's probably, besides him and Julius Todd, probably the only real quality in that receiving core. Alan Hearns has been reduced.
He's a slot receiver.
He's wide receiver 4 now.
Exactly.
He's even been taken by Westbrook.
So, and can you tell me who the other 2 guys are?
I can tell you Marquise Lee had a great season last season,
okay.
and I don't think he was drafted in the end, was he?
No.
But that's an indictment on the Jags.
That's it.
And then Deddy Westbrook, who was a 4th round draft pick by the Jags, had a stunning pre-season. Was the leading wide receiver, and I think he was drafted. But he's the guy to watch out for. But yeah, I 100% understand your concerns.
So that was the 4th round. We'll do the best and worst, then we'll roll into the 5th. So, do you have a most favourite, least favourite pick in the 4th round? I think my least favourite was... For me, personally, it was either Diggs or Martin. I think Martin, just because of the suspension.
I think Martin, in the hindsight of time, Martin will turn out to be a bad pick in that round.
Because I think always the problem with Martin as well was that, okay, you're not meant to buy into strength of schedule a lot with fantasy football based on last year, because obviously next year can be completely different. But on paper, Martin's schedule, even when he does get back, the first few games at least are horrible.
Yeah.
Combine that with missing game, combine that with him being a slow starter, combine that with him being a bit of an injury risk as well. I think it's fair to say.
I agree with all those, but I think, Travis Kelce at the top of the 4th. I think that's a
that's great pick.
Really?
I think he's been going in the 3rd round.
I would have picked him.
He was the tight end 1 last year.
Yeah.
This is the difference between how we draft. Personally, I wouldn't pick him.
He's a superb receiver.
He was tight, and think they've lost Jeremy Magnin now. He's going to be the number 1 threat over Hill in that offense, I think.
And especially in the red zone.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So most favourite then, I think for me, I would pick Jeffrey, but I think Pryor is just so much more of a value there.
Yeah.
I was amazed. I was amazed to get him there.
Yeah, so we'll go with Terrell Pryor as the best. Let's go with that. And then we'll go into round 5, and hopefully this will get quicker every round. Right. Jimmy Graham to Southampton Narwhals, Greg Olsen to Gridiron Gang, Blau Powell to Thomas Tyrants, Ira Fitzgerald to Forge Flies, Michael Crabtree to Ben Necessity to Kelvin Benjamin, but their names Russell Wilson to ADLZ, Joe Mixon to Badistan, Matt Ryan to Cash of God, Sammy Watkins to Igsan, Jordan Reed to the Dream Team, and Devontae Adams to Tank Face. Now, I think this round really is a lot of hashtag as expected.
Yeah.
The 1 or 2 things I pick up on are Blau Powell.
I can understand it.
I understand it.
Starting running back 1.
I think his ADP is around maybe the end of the 5th. I'd probably say it's more the 6th.
Yeah.
But again, the situation Tom was in, he needed the running backs, especially since he obviously just took Martin.
Yeah.
So in that context, it makes sense, but on paper, it still looks a bit of a reach, I think it's fair to say. The only other pick, I think is Joe Mixon, who, again, one of these guys whose ADP has been in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
He's looked great.
Yeah.
We obviously know that Bernard is coming off an ACL tear, and Hill is just a bit uninspiring.
He's generally Hill, yeah. I can't say I drafted him. So.
Mixed into that, you've also got Marvin Lewis, who is a conservative, traditional coach who's going to make the rookie earn the role. And it might be he earns that role in week 1, because he's not the kind of guy that just hands, over to a rookie.
Yeah.
He's loyal to, veterans and makes rookies earn it.
Yeah.
But he isn't the star yet. If he becomes that kind of, maybe not the full bell cow, they're obviously still going to give Bernard his. Hill, I think you could see riding the bench, but he could also potentially get goal line. So
that's it.
But I think in terms of ADP, in terms of potential, Mixon in the 5th round, I think is a pretty good pick.
Yes.
Especially on the balance when you throw into the fact that Pat obviously took Lynch in the 3rd, which we think was a bit of a reach, McCaffrey in the 4th, and Mixon in the 5th are both value picks that balance it out compared to ADP.
Compared to ADP, I don't dispute that. I just think Mixon is a very, very risky pick.
Yeah.
Because they have a murky backfield.
Yeah.
In Cincinnati, they have done for several seasons.
Don't have a great O-liners either, so
that's true.
Limited opportunity there.
You got Andy Dalton who loves a hoon. He's got AJ Green, he's got Eifert. He's got his targets.
Mixon, might need to throw to them.
Yeah, well, for sure. And Mixon, I think, is one of those players who, yes, probably in the back end of the season, may get there.
Sure. But in the 5th round.
But maybe in the 5th round it's worth a go. But I also can see why you're taking him there, because there's not that much quality after that. Because you get to this point.
Well,
and
I think at this point, when you get into kind of the 5th round, you can kind of get those stable guys, but you're also looking. This is where the kind of high potential guys are. The low, obviously the lower floor guys, but high potential. And I think, Mixon's ceiling is, he could be a 3-down back.
Yeah. There's absolutely no doubt
on a good offense. So I think, that's why he's been going in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Let alone the 5th where he went in our draft. So I think that's why. I agree. There's definitely risks.
Yeah.
But I think the potential, it balances the risk.
Yeah.
So, favourite pick and worst pick in the 5th round. Then we really only drew out 2. So
I think Bilal Powell is
the worst.
Risky. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with Powell as the worst. Jot that down when you can, Chris.
Okay.
The best.
Sammy Watkins down there though. Don't forget that.
Yeah. Yeah, Sammy Watkins.
What, in terms of best?
Yeah, around there. We can have a look at the.
I kind of agree in the sense that he's still Sammy Watkins. Okay, he might not do well for a month while he's still learning the offense, but I think it's widely accepted that the Rams' offense is going to be even marginally better.
Yeah,
perhaps
absolutely.
more with Sean McVay. So he could prove to be a value. So
Crabtree as well at 53.
Yeah, he's a guy that's been going in the 4th round again. One of those not sexy guys, but pretty
very
stable.
Efficient.
Kelvin Benjamin at 54.
Yeah, let's go with Kelvin Benjamin because I think he's been underrated all season. ADP 5th round is pretty much where he has been at recently, but I think he's a wide receiver 1 for the Panthers.
This guy could be a beast. I mean, say Greg Olsen's been their kind of number 1 receiver the last few years, but hey, forget about Greg Olsen this year because Kelvin Benjamin's in the red zone.
Yep, we'll go with him then. So next pick, Dan. Next round. So round 6, we have Rob Kelly, the tanky McTank face, Amir Abdullah's the Dream Team, Manuel Sanders to Exam Golden, take the cash for gold, Frank Gore to Pakistan, Mike Gillisley to ADRZ, Pierre Garçon to Bedad Brandon Marsh to Bet Necessities, Marcus Mariota to Forge Flyers, Terrence West to Tom's Tyrants, Danny Woodhead to Gridiron Gang, and Adrian Peterson to Brady Bunch. Again, I think this is pretty much an as expected 6th round.
Yeah, pretty much.
The only thing I'll pull out is one. Well, actually, I think the only thing I want to pull out is Mike Gillisley, which is, I think, again, really where his ADP is. Again, it's based on that potential. Because if he, people are looking at it as if, LeGarrette Blount obviously left New England last year and had all that production. That's actually been an outlier, LeGarrette Blount's last year. However, one running back in New England is going to lead it. But the question is it going to be, a 4-headed monster?
It could well be.
Which it could be, and probably will be, in all honesty.
And this is the standard Belichick. He doesn't know what he wants to do yet.
But this was an auto-drafted pick as well, so we can't really draw
that's true.
So, other than that...
I think the interesting thing here is that both Ravens running backs went.
Yeah, they're tough to...
Very interesting.
Tough to guess, isn't it? Yeah. And, I think there's a reason why, obviously, they want to run the ball more this year. Terrence West is the runner.
Yeah.
But they also had the highest pass attempts. They've had the highest pass attempts the last few years.
Yeah.
And they haven't had a guy like Woodhead that they can just dump the ball off to traditionally.
Agreed.
And a lot of targets have left the Ravens offense from last season.
Yep.
And they haven't really added many other people. Macklin and Woodhead are the only 2 they've added. You'd think they'd utilise a guy like Woodhead. Really, with Woodhead, it's just a question. He'll produce if he's healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that is the question.
I mean, the reason why I don't like the Woodhead pick is, is he going to be on the field enough for him to have fancy value?
So.
I think he probably will. With Flacco just likes to pass the ball.
We'll see.
He does. He hasn't had a guy to chuck it down to.
Yeah, it worked in San Diego with Philip Rivers, who's a very similar quarterback.
Worked in New England.
Worked in New England. Again.
Are they going to have 2 running backs on the field, though? Or
I think they might.
They might.
Because they can just put him in the slot. Who else are they going to put in the slot?
Yeah.
Kamara Inc. left in free agency.
Yeah, that's it. Quite. And they got Macklin and Mike Wallace downfield.
They haven't got a good starting tight end. Benjamin Watson, who's 37-year-old and coming off an Achilles tear, is their starting tight end currently.
Yeah, that's it. He's a very interesting player, Danny Wood.
Yeah.
He does give teams an extra dynamic.
Yeah.
But he does like to pull his hamstring.
Yeah, he does. So best and worst pick. Worst.
Don't like Emmanuel Sanders.
It's not exciting.
It's not.
Agreed.
Let's go worst Emmanuel Sanders. Best pick.
I really quite like Rob Kelly going to the Tanky McTank phase.
Of course.
Again, I think it's one of those on the ADP. It's early, but on how the draft was going and with all the running backs that are already gone, I can see it. I don't think I can call it a favourite just because It's a bit of a reach for where he should be going.
Yeah.
But just because of the way our draft went, that's where you needed to take him to get him.
Yeah.
Terence West could be good value.
Terence,
Pierre Garçon could be good value.
Yeah. I think, let's go with Pierre Garçon. I'm not really in love with any of the picks, but if we're going to pick one, let's just pick Garçon.
Yep.
So, round 7. Landry to Southampton Narwhals, Paul Perkins to Gridiron Gang, Thomas Rawls to Tom's Tyrants, Tyler Eifert to Forge Flyers, Martellus Bennett to Ben Necessities, Jimmy Swinson to the Detonators, Jamison Crowder to ADRZ, Devontae Parker to Pakistan, Hunter Henry to Cash for Gold, LeGarrette Blunt to Ixan, Deshaun Jackson to the Dream Team, and Tevin Coleman to Tank him at Tank Face. So, a couple of things I'll pull out here. I think Martellus Bennett's one I want to pull out, and I think Jamison Crowder as well.
Okay.
So, Bennett, I think that was high.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
And as we'll see as we go on in the draft, some tight ends were really left on the board till quite late.
Yes.
And Bennett's, he's never been a really consistent, really good tight end when being the starter. He's gone to an offense that hasn't really utilised the tight end.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Exactly that.
And we all know Rodgers likes to spread the ball around, and his favourite he's only got one favourite receiver, and other than that, he will spread that ball around.
Yeah, I think we're on consensus then. We could probably go ahead and put that as the worst pick of the round now.
Hunter Henry's high.
Yeah, he's high, but I can see why. Like last year, okay, great. The thing I think with Gates is they obviously want to get him the touchdown to get the record, but he only needs one.
Yeah.
I could see him just taking
He's
almost
the
a complete backseat after that.
Yeah.
Okay, they've still got a lot of mouths to feed, even with that. But, I think in offenses past with mouths to feed, tight end's going to get theirs. And for the tight end, it doesn't matter if it's slightly lower because the tight end's naturally lower points anyway. So I agree it's high, but I don't, in terms of, it's not as bad as that. I think Crowder is the best pick of this round.
Yeah.
Because Jamison Crowder is a guy that Kirk Cousins loves. In a limited role last year, I think he was top 24 receiver.
Oh, yeah.
When he was the third receiver.
Yeah.
They love him in the red zone. He's going to be the second guy this year. With all those targets that have gone, I think he's an absolute value in himself.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think he is. But I don't think you can really say that an auto-drafted pick is a good one.
Ooh.
It wasn't fully auto-drafted because we technically decided...
Yeah. True. True.
This is why he's here, folks. He's here to pick holes.
If it was a collective decision, then great. But I think if you're talking about a genuine pick, I think Deshaun Jackson down the bottom. I like Deshaun Jackson in that Tampa Bay offense. I think he has a potential to be absolutely explosive.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to stick in Florida. I'm going to go Devontae Parker for I think it's
I'm going to go
Pakistan.
Devontae Parker as well.
Devontae Parker. It's going to be. I think this is going to be his year. I know he's got Jay Cutler thrown to him.
I think that actually helps him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we saw in Chicago, he'd lock in on Jeffrey.
Yeah.
I think it hurts Landry, who also went in this round, which, he was a guy going in the 4th round earlier in the process. It was formed here, and I even don't like it here. Yeah. I think you have to take him here, because it's pretty much on par with his value, but I don't like it. I would have much rather had Parker, who only went, 6-7 picks later. So I think...
Parker's in.
It's in. It's locked in, people. So we're going to go to round 8 then.
Good day.
And round 8, we had Eric Decker to take you Tag Face, Dante Moncrief to the Dream Team, Kirk Cousins to Ixan, Derek Henry to Cash for Gold, Carl Rudolph to Pakistan, Jonathan Stewart to ADRZ, Cam Newton to the Detonators, Eddie Lacy to Ben Necessities, Jeremy Macklin to Forge Flyers, Andrew Luck to Thomas Tyrants, Rex Birdhead to Gridiron Gang, and Seattle Seahawks to the Brody Bunch. This is where our drafts usually go off the rails.
Yes. And so it's been. So it's been.
I'm not sure there's lots of strange picks here. But when you're at this point in the draft, especially, so a lot of running backs got pushed up here.
Derek Henry, man. Derek Henry's a great running back, don't get me wrong, but for as long as DeMarco Murray's in that offense,
It was just Ollie was just taking the players he had last year, though. That's the thing with that.
Seahawks D going in the 8th.
Eddie Lacy.
There were a lot of questionable picks, a lot of picks that kind of it's on par with ADP, but there's question marks. Some guys that got jumped up, some guys who... Actually, no, I don't think anyone really fell to this round who you would normally take. I think... No. But so let's just go straight to good and bad pick, because it's hard to kind of analyse these. So does anyone have a favourite or a least favourite pick here? I think my favourite is probably Kirk Cousins, personally.
Cousins or Cam. I'd say.
I prefer because Cousins was easily a top. I think he might have even been top 5 quarterback last year.
Yeah.
And the running game is equally still not great. He's going to be chucking it all day long. He's obviously going into another contract year where he's going to want another good year on paper.
Yeah.
He's still got lots of good weapons around him. Whereas Cam, he obviously had that bad year last year. While I think he rebounds, does he rebound to Cam of old?
No.
And based on the balance of the risk of the pick, I think Cousins is safe, whereas Cam is slightly...
Well, I think Cam's real value was his rushing ability, and they've taken that away.
It's just going to be a dump off to McCaffrey now, which...
Yeah, that's it. And he's never been the most, I don't know, accurate thrower, should we say?
Yeah.
So
favourite Cousins?
I think Cousins.
Yeah.
I think Cousins there is solid.
Least favourite?
Lacey.
Yep. Let's go with that.
Yep. All the
He's a
Seahawks
big
D.
screw.
Not keen on that one.
Yeah, D's going high, yeah. That's rich coming from you, though.
That is very rich, but,
4th round Miami defense.
We're all young once, and...
Whatever. Round 9 then. So we have Jaquiz Rodriguez to Southampton Narwhals, Matthew Stafford to Gridiron Gang, John Brown to Tom's Tyrants, Willie Sneed to Forge Flies, Randall Cobb to Ben Estes, Delaney Walker to Bedenners, Tyrell Williams to ADRZ, Dak Prescott to Pakistan, Rashad Matthews to Catch from Gold, Mike Wallace to Ixan, Adam Thielen to the Dream Team, and Eric Ebron to Tank Face. Again, pretty much as expected. 9th round, I think it's fair to say. Let's not delve into each of these picks because at this point there's going to be picks with upside. It's mainly the upside plays.
Yep. Again.
You okay, Chris? Yeah. There you go.
I just forgot who we picked in the last round as our favourite. But
so let's just go straight to favourite worst. My favourite in this round, I think, personally, was Mike Wallace.
Yeah, I agree. I also quite like Dak going in this round. I know he's a more conservative quarterback, but I quite like him. I think he's efficient and
agree.
He's not your sexy quarterback, but
I just think compared to the other quarterbacks still on the board, and obviously we saw Derek Carr stayed all the way until later in the draft. I just don't see him getting much more points than that kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like. I agree it was a good pick, I like it, but I don't think it was a great pick. It wasn't like something really, wow, what a value, I think.
If Elliott goes down, I think we could see a spike in...
Sure. But I don't,
production.
I don't think,
I like Thielen. I've always liked Thielen. He's a good player.
So we're all split on the best pick. That's
Can I make the Commissioner's pick?
Can I make my case for Mike Wallace?
Yes.
Yeah, so Mike Wallace... Over 1,000 yards last year, only 4 touchdowns, but he was still a top 24 wide receiver. All those targets has left. I think he's pretty much going to get what he got last year and a little bit more, which is going to solidify him as a top 24 receiver in the 9th round.
Yeah, that's it. He's always been there or thereabouts. To be fair, he can get the job done.
Consistency, yeah.
I think that he in that offense, you're going to have him as the yardage guy and probably Macklin as the red zone guy.
Yeah.
That's where the split's going to be.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be of equal value, but it's just because Macklin's going to be more touchdown dependent.
But
possibly.
I think arguably he's a starter in the 9th round.
Oh,
and outside of quarterback, I look at the other picks here. I think Wallace is almost a week in, week out starter just based on the volume.
Snead can be, but it's a shame he's banned. Because why would you take drugs before the beginning of the season? You're a professional athlete, man. That's it.
I think we should put Wallace there. There's a lot of really good ones. I just think Wallace is a bit more guaranteed than Wallace. I think this is the thing with Snead and guys like that. It's like, okay, he's in the St. Thomas. He's going to do well, but I think on a week-to-week basis, you're not going to know, and he's going to have his bad weeks and might not reach that potential.
Yeah.
You have made your case well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like Snead, though, by the way. That's not the...
I like him too, that's why I do.
Yeah. Right, so, least favourite then...
I don't like...
There's a few I don't like.
I don't like Eric Ebron in that round because he's too high.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sorry, Phil, but I think I agree.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. I needed a tight end.
There were guys like Zach still on the board.
Indeed, and there was to the end as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, let's go with that. So,
Eric Ebron, and we did pick somebody, and I've again completely forgotten.
Mike
Wallace is the guy, because everyone forgets about Mike Wallace and how good he is.
They do, exactly. Round 10, Darren McFadden to Tank Face, Duke Jones to the Dream Team, Latavius Murray to Ixan, Ted Ginn to Cash for Gold, Kenny Britt to Pakistan, Matt Forte to ADRZ, Jordan Matthews to Bedenners, Theo Riddick to Ben Estes, Jeremy Hill to Forge Flies, Jason Witten to Tom Sirens, Corey Coleman to Gridiron Gang, Stephen Gostkowski to Southampton Arms.
Absolutely, by far and away, taking a kicker in the 10th round is ridiculous.
Yes,
Done.
agreed. Yeah, I think Yeah.
ridiculous. But I really didn't like the Jason Witten pick.
I also have to agree with you there.
Jason Witten has had his day.
Agreed. Kicker in the 10th round, ludicrous. But if you're taking one of the best, whereas Witten, I thought about this, and more I've thought about it, I think I know why Tom took him, because he's playing the Giants, and if I'm right, historically he gets a lot of work against the Giants.
Yep.
Maybe a yardage and a touchdown here. Be that as it may, I don't think it had to be in the 10th round. I saw a scenario where he goes undrafted.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's had his fantasy day.
I think it was more likely he went undrafted.
Here's the kind of parallel that I can get between the two. It's like when Tony Gonzalez was in the league for Atlanta, but you had to have him because he was Hall of Fame. Or Hall of Fame.
He was good.
Gonzalez was good to the end.
Yeah, he was very good.
Yes, but Witten can be good on his day, but just not at the moment.
He wasn't a top 12 tight end.
Well, that's it exactly. Now he's had problems with health, and he's had problems with form. And he had problems with the fact that Tony Romo's not there anymore.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, is this the year he kind of makes a return?
I think the argument you can make is, that behind Bryant there isn't a lot of passing options, I think. But at the same time, okay, I take all that into account. I still don't think you need to draft him. I think you could pick him up at the end of the draft.
Yeah.
He took Doug Martin. He had a reserve spot to use. I don't think you need to draft him.
At that point, there's also, as you say, there's the likes of Ertz on the still there.
There was many times.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely.
I mean, I think you could make it. I think that they're both bad picks.
But I think at least with Gostkowski, you're taking one of the best of the position, and you're going to need to draft him to get him. That's my logic.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think that Witten is a terrible pick. I think also Gostkowski. I'd say, but I couldn't choose between the two.
Let's do a joint.
It's questionable taking any kicker in the 10th round.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good he is. You can take him 2 rounds later and still win. I'll still take that.
Exactly.
Okay, so best pick then? I think Ted Ginn. I love the Ted Ginn pick here.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think there are again...
Saints offense, I think playing with a guy, I think best quarterback he's ever played with, Drew Brees. Snead is obviously missing for the first few weeks. That could let him carve out his role.
Yep. I like the Darren McFadden pick as well here.
Do you? This was a complete...
Oh, really? Really, do you?
Thanks, Ollie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
no, it's not. Well, I think we'll go with Ted Ginn.
Ted Ginn, okay.
Ted Ginn, yeah.
Had to make my case.
Yeah. Sorry, that's not particularly good. That's not very insightful. I think it's going to have to be...
Yeah.
Potentially could be... Jordan Matthews could potentially be great if he gets over his health problems.
I don't know what the Buffalo offense is going to like. Though.
No,
I think at least with the Saints, they're high-powered. Ginn's going to get his. With the Bills, they could just be awesome.
Same as the Jags.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Same as the Jags.
Round 11 then. So we have Marvin Jones to Southampton Knowles, Wendell Small with the Gridiron Gang, Jamal Williams to Thomas Torrance, Jonathan Williams to Ford Flyers, Kansas City Chiefs to Ben Assistes, Houston Texans to Bananas, Denver Broncos to ADIZ, Samaje P. Ryan
100%.
to Badistan, Robbie Gold to Cash for Gold. You can go ahead and punch this in as the worst right now. Cameron Meredith takes
that's the one.
Vikings defense to the Dream Team, and Phil Rivers to Thank You for Time. So Meredith is out for the year, and funnily enough, he's actually still on Ben's roster in the reserve spot. He ain't coming back, man. You can keep him where you want. He ain't coming back.
I think we have to just take his name back.
That's awful.
It's going to go back to Ick, man.
I think that's the worst one. Jonathan Williams is a terrible pick. I think in hindsight, because he got cut 3 days after.
That was not foreseen.
No,
at that point, everyone knew Meredith was done for the year.
That's it. Done. That's it.
Right. Best pick. It's a bit of a slim pickings round because of the running. It was a lot of defenses.
The word potentially is going to come up a lot now. I think that Marvin Jones.
I agree. Marvin Jones good.
He has the most potential to do something out of all those picks.
Exactly.
Wendell Smallwood can potentially do something.
Wendell Smallwood.
That's it. If Blunt gets cut or goes down or just gets too overweight that he can't run anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with Jones.
Yeah, I think Marvin Jones, and that's through gritted teeth as well because
No, that. Round 13. So Kenny Stills to Tank Face, Darren Sproles to the Dream Team, Justin Tucker to Ixan, Alvin Kamara to Cash for Gold, Chris Hogan to Palestine, Giovanni Bernard to ADRZ, DeAndre Washington to Dead Natives, James White to Ben Assistes, Corey Davis to 55s, Cooper Kupp to Tom Torrance, Carson Palmer to Great Iron Gang, and Zay Jones to Southampton Knowles. Again, I don't think we can't really analyse any of these picks because it's a dart throw at this point.
Carson
if you're not
pretty much,
starting quarterback, is he not?
He is at the moment, yes, because he has a very soft schedule to start. the month. So
we'll find out if that's going to be any good. I also think that.
again, that's the favourite and least favourite.
Zay Jones. I'm going there. With Zay.
Is your favourite?
I think he's a wide receiver one.
I would have said Corey Davis.
Corey Davis has potential, but he's not going to be used yet. Zay Jones is going to be used.
Corey Davis is in a bit of a battle, isn't
Yeah.
he? There's many mouths to feed in that offense.
Corey Davis could be this year's Mike Thomas.
No, I think that's right.
Put it out there now.
Because I think he has the similar potential as Antonio Brown. He's a similar type of receiver.
And he's playing with a quality quarterback and a quality offense.
Well, that's fact.
It is.
You laugh though, that's fact. Whereas Zay Jones, I liked taking him as my last receiver as an upside pick. But the problem I have with him is it's a Buffalo offense. It's going to run a lot.
Yep.
It's not going to pass as much. It's not going to be as effective passing because they haven't got a guy like Watkins to draw coverage away from the other guys.
Yeah.
It's Jordan Matthews and Zay Jones. They're going to draw all the attention to themselves. He's a rookie. So I think I prefer Davis.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Davis, but great.
We'll let you have the home pick here, don't worry, Chris. Least favourite, then. Least favourite, yeah.
It's a lottery, to be honest, at this
point. Can I say... Oh, I forgot to mention, but honourable mention from the last round, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp could be great in that Rams offense.
I don't know. I think it's a similar thing to Vikings, where it's... Well,
not
a bit less than... It's not going to be as efficient. Probably not going to be as good. They're going to run a lot, and there's quite a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah.
True.
Robert Woods, Watkins, and Kupp. I think, PPR, I'd be more excited.
It's like the Bills' offense from 3 years ago. It's amazing.
Least favourite, who are we going to go for? I think...
Justin Tucker.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Why would you do it to yourself?
Yeah, put it down. Right, round 13, sorry. Dante Foreman to Southampton Armors, Marlon Mack to Grand Gang, Sam Bradford to Thomas Tyrants, Cardinals D to Forge Flyers, Cole Beasley to Bare Necessities, Kenny Golladay to Bedenators, Andy Dalton to ARZ, Derek Carr to Pakistan, Tariq Cohen to Cash for Gold, Patriots defense to Xan, Kendall Wright to Dream Team, Carolina Panthers, taking a tag face real quick, because who really cares at this point? Favourite, least favourite?
I mean, they're all sort of regulatory round 14 picks at this point.
I think my least favourite was, I hate to say it again, I'm not picking any time, I swear, it's on the balance, Sam Bradford.
Could have got better.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I get the point saying he's got maybe a really soft schedule, but there's just some offenses. Right, if it was the Jets, extreme example, if the Jets had the easiest schedule in the world, would you take the Jets quarterback?
No.
I kind of look at it the same way. Now, the Vikings are definitely a better offense than the Jets. But it's not the type of offense that's, he's efficient, he's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a standard Tom's Tyrants pick, isn't it? He's always gone for Bradford.
And has he?
He's gone for Bradford a lot.
Okay, I'll take your word for that, because I don't know. But as you said...
Bradford watch.
I think you said, Chris, Roethlisberger was still on the board here, Carr was still on the board here. Okay, those guys aren't the sexiest options, but I think it's fair to say they're pretty much locks for top 12. Roethlisberger, you can only play him at home. Yeah, fine. Carr, okay, he was, again, I think he had a really good year, a better year than he should have had.
He's had one leg for 8 months, but
But he's still a real good quarterback.
Oh, 100%.
And I think, So, favourite pick, I guess it's just something, I'm going to go Derek Carr, for the reasons I just said.
Yeah, Derek Carr.
Derek Carr's value.
Potentially a QB1.
Can I just say, I quite like Kenny Golladay in this round.
Yeah, but he's a Hail Mary.
Absolutely, but a red zone Hail Mary target.
I just look and see Anquan Bolden last year. He had some games where he got touchdowns, but he really wasn't valuable. Third receiver in a Lions offense that already spreads out between the receivers and the running backs.
Actually, to be fair, we can't have Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay in the same list here.
Yeah,
so
let's go with what we said, Derek Carr. And least favourite was
Sam Bradford.
Yeah. Round 14 then. Kicker City, Dan Bailey to Tank the Tank Face,
Great pick.
Matt Bryan to the Dream Team, CJ Prozis to Ixan, Eagles D to Cash for Gold, Warlords to Pakistan, Sterling Shep to ADRZ, Zach Ertz to Bedenators, LaFell to Ben Necessities, Roethlisberger to Forge Flyers, Falcons to Tom Stones, Rams to Grand Gang, Mitchell to the Brady Bunch. Again, real quick, favourite, least favourite. My favourite, Zach Ertz.
I agree with you.
Yeah, Zach Ertz.
He's been going in the 7th
Sterling
round
Shepard as well.
That was an auto draft, so we can't put that for the rest of this.
Okay.
But at the same time, same thing, crowded offense. So,
Yeah.
but I think Zach Ertz is a guy who's going like the 7th round in a lot of drafts, and he fell all the way to 14th.
Yeah.
Least favourite. I kind of feel like it's LaFell. Or Malcolm Mitchell.
This is the.
I'd say LaFell.
We're not going to do anything from CJ Precise. That Seattle back was a joke.
Yeah, but he could still be the pass catching back. This is what his niche is.
Brandon LaFell's still there, but
but when are you ever going to feel good about starting LaFell?
Well, you're not going to feel Precise either for the same reasons.
I'm going to put this scenario. If Rawls gets injured, which is quite likely. If Lacey sucks, which is quite likely. CJ Precise.
You've got to go through two guys, but Brandon LaFell's on the field all the time.
You say two guys, but really, and Lacey might not even be effective. Let's just get that straight.
No,
he hasn't been good for years now.
I mean, LaFell's never really been hugely fancy.
He had that 1 year with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Where you had him, I think.
Yep.
Apart from that, nothing. And this Bengals offense, as you said, the O-line is banged up. There's so many mouths to feed there. They just drafted a rookie in John Ross.
Yeah, I agree. I think LaFell.
I just think there's no upside there. And when you're in round 14, you're better off taking a lottery ticket pick than taking Brandon LaFell.
Teddy Westbrook. Wait, it's round 15.
It's a democracy. Okay, that's it. It's a democracy here, folks. We're going to go for Brandon LaFell.
I didn't hear anyone... Well, you said CJ Precise, but I think Precise at least has some lottery ticket value, whereas LaFell, where's the lottery ticket value? That's my reasoning.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit like the Witten call, really. It doesn't really have any sort of fancy value.
When you're picking a third choice running back, it's just difficult.
But again, that was Tom that made that pick, right?
Ben, I think.
No, Ben.
Ben's gone to the casino on a few of these.
Right, fire around mercifully, so then we can actually get to the second half of the show. Maybe it is going to be 2 hours.
Oh no!
We'll do the second half quickly.
I didn't expect this.
Jamal Charles to Southampton Narwhals, Brandon McManus to Rhode Gang, Sebastian Janikowski to Tom's Torrance, Jack Doyle to Forge Fires, Matt Prater to Ben Assisties, Mason Crosby to Bedennades, Chris Boswell to ADRC, Pittsburgh defense to Pakistan, Nelson Aguilar to Cash for God, Tyra Taylor to Exxon, Buccaneers D to Dream Team, Didi Westbrook to Tank Attack Base. Real quick, favourite, least favourite.
Jamal Charles in this round.
Favourite. My favourite is Jamal Charles.
Yeah,
I agree.
I like that.
I agree.
In terms of just
he's made the team.
Has been,
I think that's the
he
important
looked good in
thing.
that third preseason game.
Yeah.
Why not? Least favourite.
Who cares what your least favourite round of 15th round is?
Didi Westbrook.
Yeah. Didi
Sorry,
Westbrook is a fly in the ointment. He has been very good. He's
behind Marquise Lee and Robinson in a terrible offense.
He is, but you never know.
Westbrook.
He was the best wide receiver in pre-season. Racked up the most yards. You never know in this game.
We said that the Seattle backfield was the best a minute ago. The receiving core at the Jags is a joke as well. So so when you pick in the Jags fourth choice receiver,
third choice receiver. Thank you. He's ahead of Alan Hearns now in the depth valley.
Is he really?
Yep.
Whatever.
Julius Thomas has a receiver in my head, man.
We're going to really wrap the second half of the show quickly because this has taken an amazingly long time for some reason.
That's it.
You talk too much, mate.
How about...
They're only long when you're on it, mate. Right, so before we go on, we'll do our favourite pick of the draft, worst pick, then we'll do a quick touch base on everything else and a quick preview of it.
Right,
we're not going to look at each team. The power rankings do that. So
that's it, absolutely. What we're going to do is we're going to, between the three of us, we're just going to say who we think is going to win and why.
Yeah. Sounds good. Right.
In 2 words.
First, we're going to do best and worst pick of the draft.
Okay.
Hang on. So, amongst all of ours.
Yeah. Amongst what we've chosen.
I think that if we're talking about, I think that potentially it could be Terrell Pryor in the 4th round.
As the best pick.
Yes.
So I'm going to start with the worst pick, Cameron Meredith. Can we all?
Oh yes, 100%.
100%.
That's going down in history as one of the worst picks ever.
Yeah, 100%.
Best pick.
I think the potential. I think Terrell Pryor. I think it's either one of the receivers in the 3rd or 4th round. Brandon Cooks or Terrell Pryor are the ones that we've chosen. Devontae Parker in the 7th as well has got potential to be pretty good.
I think that's on his ADP though. I'm going to go for Pryor just because that's really below. That's a round lower than he should be going.
Yeah, I'll say Pryor as well then.
See, from the lower rounds, can I just say, if Zach Ertz has an unquality season at tight end, he's picked in the 14th round of our draft.
I think you could say Diddy Westbrook. At the end of the season, when he's racked up 1,000 yards.
Your face.
Phil, if that happens, mate.
Right.
You're all buying me drinks.
You heard it now, right? I will buy Phil a 6-pack of Red Stripe from Macro.
Done.
Red Stripe as well. That's it. Not just any beer, Jamaican beer.
So we were just saying we're gonna do this one quickly. Now we have to because my iPad's just told me we only have 10% battery left, so we don't have a choice in the matter. So
20 minutes, folks.
Power rankings real quickly. Then we'll do the news. Then we'll do our quick week 1 preview. So
Okay.
Power rankings. Did you guys read them?
Yes,
I did.
Yeah, good. So what did you make of them? I'll read them out for you guys, and then you guys can have a quick debate.
Unlucky Tom.
At number 1 we have the Dream Team, 2 ADRZ, 3 Ixan, 4 Cash for Gold, 5 Fortify, 6 for Detonators, 7 Gridiron Gang, 8 Ben Necessities, 9 Padistan, 10 Tanky Mid Tank Base, 11 Southampton Knowles, 12 Tom Stars. Before you guys get into it quickly, I will just say this was very hard for me. I keep saying it, I have said it, I think we all agree. The teams are really quite even, and lots of teams have some good things we like, lots of teams have some bad. In terms of the strategies on draft day, I don't think we really stepped on each other's toes much. We each got the guys we pretty much wanted, and there was no race for guys and they're missing out. I think everyone kind of got what they were playing for, and as such, the teams are all quite even. In some have strengths, some have weaknesses.
Yeah.
So, you guys, power rankings, discuss.
Okay. I think Ben's team of casino gamblers at third is bold.
I just do it based on the fact that they've got Elliott, they've got Miller, they have a good running back core, decent enough receivers.
But they spun the roulette wheel and gone black.
I'd also, I agree. It's definitely, I position them on their upside. However, at this point, I think their upside is more likely than not.
Yeah.
After 2 weeks in the season, that may be completely different.
Indeed.
I'll say that right now. Fine.
In years gone by, I would say that Ben's team is like this man's here.
Yeah,
That's it.
I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
That's it.
Place the tuck bars.
Very much so as the team of gamblers in the league. Now, if it pays off, absolutely brilliant. Is he going to be up there?
Yeah.
But will it? And with Elliott without for 8 weeks or whatever the hell he is now, just seems to be racking up. Then that's it. Your star guy's gone. It's the same as the guy goes injured for 8 weeks. Is he going to be back fighting on all cylinders? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I agree. And seeing as we've only got 5% battery now, I'm going to say maybe that Cash for Gold are maybe a bit too high. Maybe you're a bit harsh on yourself, Nath, for only putting yourself 7.
Okay.
And other than that, I thought, it was a...
It's hard to be impartial from it. Well, when you try to be impartial, naturally, you kind of have to be a bit harsher on your own team to make sure you're doing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but thank you. Right, so
here we go.
Just quickly, we're going to do a really quick live on air reshuffle so I can put the charger on because that's ridiculous how quickly that's gone down. So
should we do the theme music?
Oh, this makes it excellent. So we're going to actually migrate the chairs around if we can, boys. Really quick. Great viewing. Oh no,
for the second half of this, can be a standalone part of the show. Just cut this down.
Well, it's live, so cutting is...
Chris, start dancing and maybe give our 0 viewers some entertainment.
That's it. To be fair,
whoever watches this back, you can just go ahead and skip about a minute ahead.
Yeah, that's it. We haven't actually had anyone, have we, the whole time?
I think one person dropped in for about 3
really?
seconds.
Yeah.
So.
Say no more then.
Yeah, exactly. So. Okay. Nearly there, don't worry, we're all shifting. There we go.
You guys want to want to know about this?
So, hey, there we go. So,
Love it.
a real quick news. So, let's go down. Where are my pictures? There we go. So, let's go down the lineups real quick and do the injury news. So, Carlos Palmer did not practice, rest day. Danny Woodhead obviously coming back from a hamstring injury he suffered, but he is practicing again and should be good to go for the weekend. Le'Veon Bell still on the exempt list, but he'll come off that. He's fully ready to go for Sunday. Demaryius Thomas returned from his groin injury that he suffered in the preseason as well. He returned to practice today, so he should be ready to go on Sunday. Larry Fitzgerald did not practice, rest day for a veteran. Eifert, perennially injured, he's fine. LaShawn McCoy, he has a stomach bug, didn't practice today, but he should be good to go for the weekend.
That's alright, man.
Who else have we got? Malcolm Mitchell, questionable. He's had he banged up knees, I think, for most of the preseason, but he might miss the game, actually. We'll have to see. now on Tom's Torrance. Bilal Powell full practice. I think he may have had a shoulder or something, but he should be fine. Amari Cooper limited. Another guy that seems perennially banged up, but he'll be good to go. Sebastian Janikowski, interestingly limited. He'll be good to go, don't worry. Dream Team, Adele Beckham Jr. did not practice. He suffered that high ankle injury in the preseason. I think at this point he probably won't play.
Yeah. He's been very confident about it, but
it's not looking good. It's not looking good. But Adnaeus Newton full practice. He's obviously coming back from that shoulder surgery. I did miss on Tom's Tyrants as I didn't grab the bench. Apologies. Andrew Luck will not play week 1.
Nope.
Scott Tolsey.
Yeah, fire him up. Yeah. Who's team for your team? Full bit of health. Felt very nice. Apart from Eric Ebron, I think he's a bit banged.
Whatever lineups it's going to be, because no one yet knows.
Cash for Gold, they're claimed by the health in the starting lineup. ADRZ claimed by the health. Nice to say that on week 1. Ixan claimed by the health of the starters. Pakistan claimed by the health of the starters. That is your injury update. If you haven't already, make sure you change your lineup.
Yeah, I don't need to because I've got none of my players playing tonight.
Don't care. Get your lineup in. The other two teams that haven't done that, Ross, Southampton was in Nigel JDOZ. I will, if you have players tonight, I will put them in, certainly for Nigel. Ross, I don't know if you have anyone, but, please don't make me go in and put people in your lineup.
Just in case you get to this point of the podcast and you want to get clarification on that, Nathan will have to change.
We can't have people leaving everyone on the bench because it's just it's not like when someone leaves a bye player and an injury player in. Okay, it's a disadvantage, but it's still not a gimme. This is literally a gimme. That's not okay.
And if Nice choose not to participate this year, which could happen, we don't know, then we're gonna have to revert back to.
I've got a guy at work who will step in happily, and he'll be a really good member of the league.
There we go.
Cool.
Brilliant stuff.
Yep.
We don't have to revert to the old tried and tested. We'll pick by committee method
No,
on the podcast every week.
Other news. So Tampa Bay Miami game has been moved due to Hurricane Irma.
This is a week gone by.
Yeah, it's a bye. They won't have any bye weeks later on, which is the good news, but you won't have them for week 1, which is the bad news. Transactions. Let's take a look at those really quickly. Where are our transactions? We always have some after the draft, which is kind of funny. I can't see them.
I've got it.
Cameron Merritt.
I've got it, people.
Actually, he's not gone, is he?
Okay, there we go. We'll do it off here. So we'll start from the bottom. So we had Dream Team added Bills defense, dropped Tampa Bay. Who cares? It's defense straight after the draft. Ben Assistes added Kyra Santos and dropped Matt Prater. Fortifiers added Blair Walsh after putting Willie Snead on reserve. Tom's Tyrants added Chris Thompson. Again, putting Doug Martin on reserve. Fortifiers dropped Jonathan Williams, who got cut by the Bills, and then added Mike Tolbert, who's the new backup. Michael Floyd got added by Gridiron Gang. I did some very interesting roster movements where I abused Le'Veon Bell being on the exempt list, cut on that, picked up Floyd, took Bell off, then put Michael Floyd on the reserve list because I'm that crazy. And Fortifiers added Ryan Suckup and dropped Blair Walsh. And Ixan, added Kobe Fleener, who they also have.
Wow. Wow.
Which goes to show, like we said, some of these tight ends that got drafted, with tight end is tricky, because if you don't get some of the really good guys, it's almost worth not taking one until your last pick before you're taking defenses and kickers. And even on the free agency, there's still some guys who you can say, I could see a good game. Anyway.
And was that the first people using their tokens?
No, because it wasn't waivers, it was just free agents.
Free agents.
So just to clarify that out, because it will be good, this will be the last chance we have on the podcast to say, even though 78 minutes in, you're probably not even watching anymore. But
there's one person.
There's one person watching. Hello.
Hello, one viewer. Please comment and let us know who you are.
We've got to the best part of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Waivers. The waivers, obviously the budget thing, won't happen yet because unless someone drops someone and they go into waivers, I think that potentially will happen. But next week, after the games on Monday / Tuesday, hey Viv, how's it going? On Tuesday or Monday, whenever we can first do the waivers go through. Missed the first 78 minutes.
It wasn't fine.
You can go catch up.
The next 20's better.
Have it on in the background. It's fine.
We're there for the vibes. Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
Good
vibes are good. Positive.
The waivers after the games on Monday, as usual, waivers all the same time frame as before. However, when you're doing them, instead of just clicking on a guy, dropping a guy, and then submitting it, and then ordering them how you want. Different now, you will click to add a guy, you will have to place a bid, how much you want to pay for that guy. Then when waivers go through as normal, if you win that bid, that amount will be taken from your budget, which is 100. Everyone can, I think you can go and see who gets the winning bid. I don't know if you can see everyone who bid and how much they bid, but certainly with the winner you can. I don't know whether it's going to show us what everyone's budget is through the year, or you can obviously go back and work that out yourselves by looking at that transaction report. But really the only difference to how it is instead of just selecting a guy you want, selecting a guy you're dropping, and then it just processing based on your waiver priority, used to be based on the standings. Now it's silent bidding, so whoever bids the most wins.
Nice,
added extra.
good system.
Yeah, so that's how it's going to work from next week. It's going to be a learning curve for all of us, especially the first week, but it should be fine. So I think that was all the news we have to cover. Yep. So we will now do a very, very quick fire round.
Can we do it in 10 minutes, people? Get it up to 90 minutes.
Yes, we can.
Of course we
can. So we've got 6 games. We'll each do 2 games each.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll just give our spiel on it.
Yeah.
And then, so for each game, first of all, we need to pick a game of the week.
Which is, I know what it is.
I think it's probably a bad idea. A good idea that we know who it is already.
Yep.
So then we'll give our spiel. We'll say who we think is going to win. So we have the Brady Bunch against Ben SSDs, Dream Team against Tom's Tyrants, Detonators against Tanky McTankface. That'll rematch.
Oh yeah.
Corona Bowl 5. Forge Flyers against Gridiron Gang, the podcast bowl itself. Cash for Gold against ADRZ. And Palestine against Ixan. Game of the week, people.
I think there can only be one.
I think it's Badernes and Tanky McTankface.
The big one.
I think it has to be. It's the biggest rivalry in the league.
100%.
Well, except between Pat Stan and... Would you count Pat as your bigger rival than Ollie?
Well, I've been asked this question before, and my answer is I consider myself like Manchester United, and Ollie a bit like Man City, based on his record against me in the regular season. We don't count the post-season. And then Pat is like... Pat, because of the hatred, is like, it's like Liverpool. Yeah, it's like Liverpool. It's like Boca Juniors versus River Plate. There's violence.
West Ham v Millwall.
West Ham versus Millwall.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is the Ollie versus Phil game is always big.
Okay.
And we're looking forward to this season.
So we won't let you give the spiel on that. But we will let Chris, because our co-host is expert at giving.
Well, I've been doing it for a number of years now, people, and you should probably know by now that I have a thing at the top now. A thing at the top of every single team. Quarterback, two running backs, Holy Trinity. You better believe it.
Or a receiver. There
is a trinity of 3, but it always includes a quarterback, at least one running back, at least one receiver, or other running back. Anyway, at the moment I can't see Tanky McTankface. Well, we don't know who they're going to field, but at the moment, I like the fact that Ollie has
a starting lineup.
He does. He's playing Carolina against San Francisco. Everyone knows the perils of playing against the San Francisco D. Well, there isn't really one. Melvin Gordon against Denver. That's a hard game for that offense. And Kareem Hunt against New England. Well, let's be honest, if they're down, are they really going to use Kareem Hunt? I don't really know. But we shall see tonight. Carlos Hyde against Carolina as well. I quite like that matchup. However, we look down to the bench players, and there are many of them. Many players for Tanky McTankface. So let's have a look. Philip Rivers against Denver. We don't like that. Tevin Coleman won't play. Mark Ingram is the chairman of a 4-man committee. Rob Kelly against Philly, like that. Darren McFadden was a kind of like, fuck you, Ben move. DeMarco Murray against Oakland.
Would have been good if he was playing.
I like that as well. Alshon Jeffrey against Washington, that's got a potential to be a shootout. So, there's benefits on both sides, but it's very difficult to know without really knowing what Phil's mind is. And as everyone will know, everyone who's played against Phil in the past, it's very difficult to know what his mind is at any point.
Well, I can say 2 things for certain.
Okay.
I won't be playing Mike Evans, and I won't be playing Kenny Stills. So,
what a revelation!
You heard it here first, people.
And on that basis, because he doesn't know I have Mike Evans, we'll all give our just a pick at the end of the analysis. I'm going to pick Ollie.
I think I'm going to pick. I think I'm going to pick Bernardes because they actually have a team at the moment.
I'm going to go and pick TFN
There you
because, we are. I'd always back myself against Ollie. The record never lies, and it's not the postseason, so I'm bound to score 120 points.
Always beat Ollie.
Did I not last season? I don't remember.
You haven't always beaten.
Well, only in the season I have in the main season.
Right, I'll do the next game. So Brady Bunch, it's bare necessities. Sorry, Southampton Narwhals. You really need to change that. Southampton Narwhals against bare necessities. So I'm going to go down. Bare necessities. I've got a pretty good starting lineup. It's going to be very dictated by how good the Packers are. They're playing the Seahawks this week. It's not promising at all.
No.
Seahawks are better than ever after trading for Sheldon Richardson. Freeman against Chicago was a good matchup. I like that. Crabtree is stable, and Hill against New England could potentially do well. However, we're pretty good in the secondary, so we'll see.
Yep.
On Southampton Narwhals side, Tom Brady is starting, or will be starting, so he should be pretty good. He's also got David Johnson, who we know is a beast. Peterson's playing against Minnesota. That's a dark horse for a good matchup because they're gonna. He wants revenge.
Yeah.
So he's gonna get a chance to get.
He's the vice president of the committee, though.
It's true.
That's the problem.
Oh, is he? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Nobody knows. That's it.
We hope he's not because of obviously
There's a coup happening. In
T.Y. Hilton isn't going to be great with Scott Tolzien throwing him the ball. Zay Jones might start, which could be pretty good. They're playing the Jets, so that's okay. Or Allen Robinson again, who knows. Jimmy Graham against Green Bay, I like that. On the balance of things, I'm going to go with Southampton Narwhals.
Okay.
Because Green Bay, Ben Assistis is leveled out with Green Bay, which a lot of weeks is probably okay, but this one against Seattle is not.
No.
I think this could be close, but I'm going to go with bare necessities.
Okay.
We shall see.
They were the top rated.
You can do this one.
The Dream Team versus the Tom's Tyrants. So so Viv, who's currently watching, hey to you, Viv.
Top of the power rankings as well.
Yeah, top of the power rankings against bottom of the power rankings and Tom's Tyrants. If we first look at Tom's Tyrants, if we say your Holy if you take your Holy Trinity here, they've got Antonio Brown, but I don't really see, and they've got, they've got Terrence West coming in at running back. And they've got Amari Cooper at wide receiver. I don't really see too many too many strong options here.
It's not very holy, no.
No, not very holy a Trinity at all. Let's have a look. It could be. They're gonna need to score some points. They're gonna need to lean on some of their big players and hope that the Jets comes out better than expected. Come out and hope that Terrence West gets seizes this number one role and really.
You heard it
really
first, guys. Bet on the Jets.
Bet on the Jets. In terms of the Dream Team, it's a strong looking lineup. I really quite like C.J. Anderson as a number one running back. Drew Brees is obviously playing Minnesota.
He's the man.
He's not, he's the big QB.
Matchup of the week, that is.
But against a Minnesota defense, we don't know. That's it could go either way.
But it's Drew Brees.
It is Drew Brees.
Best offense in the league.
And it's inside.
But the biggest problem at the moment for Viv is that the pressing problem that Odell might not play.
It's tough. It's a situation you were without your starting receiver for week one.
And with Deshaun Jackson out on a bye, he's got to either go with Kendall Wright or Dante Moncrief. So a few issues there for the Dream Team. And if he's looking for a title run, is this type of game where things have gone against him that he needs to pull out these points. Yeah. I think it could be pretty close, but I'm going to go. I think the Dream Team have, although they are down, they have the points there on the board to put up this win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Dream Team as well. I think Tom Sarrance is historically a slow starter.
Absolutely.
Without Luck and Martin.
Yeah.
Are they going to have a chance?
Have a slow start again. Like Usain Bolt. Has a slow start and then picks up towards the end of the race.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the 400 metre final.
So that's the first three.
Bang!
We'll let Phil do 45 be a good angle where you just went. So we'll first of all let Chris do. ADRZ versus Cash for Gold.
Easiest thing ever. Cash for Gold's going to win this because I can't have an auto draft team with anything. Just saying, it's just the way it is. Yes, ADRZ have some very good players, but they haven't got a team yet, and it's difficult to know really what to say about this team because they're going to be up and down every week. Yes, they've got some great players. They got obviously Gronk's playing tonight. I think they're short at running back, very short at running back. I think their receivers are absolutely brilliant. Don't get me wrong. I think they've got two very solid quarterbacks on their roster, but maybe the running back situation there isn't going to help them all year. Certainly, if one goes down, very, very difficult to come back from that. On the other side, I don't like the fact that Derrick Henry's starting for Cash for Gold.
That's due to the JHI.
Indeed, that's it. Absolutely
again,
unforeseen, but even so, that's not going to help at all. Say Rashad Matthews, Oakland. That's a good lineup. That's a good matchup. Matt Ryan against Chicago has all the makings of a quality matchup. Interesting to see how Dalvin Cook plays against the New Orleans defence on Monday night.
Yep.
I think that Cash for Gold certainly have a chance. I think ADRZ have the best chance,
yep.
But do I want ADRZ to win at the present? No.
No, yeah, I mean, I'd like ADRZ to beat him as well, but I'll do that after this. I think they're going to win though, because same reason I didn't pick Phil, they don't have JHI week 1.
No, that's it. It's you're right, it's star players. Star players and he doesn't have one. He's missing one running back.
I am also going to go ADRZ. I think, Cash for Gold didn't have the best draft, and, their starters are risky at best. I think ADRZ will come with a win here.
Yep, cool. So Pakistan v Iksan now. So two of the best teams from last season. The champion takes the field again. Did he beat Pakistan in the playoffs? I can't remember who Iksan played.
Yes.
I don't remember. I turned off by this time.
Yeah, I think he did. So let's take a look down then. So I think Pat is pretty much at full strength apart from Devontae Parker, but he might not have been a starter anyway. It'll be interesting to see what Lynch does against Tennessee. Prescott's against the Giants, which could be tough, but he could also have a nice day. McCaffrey as well is another wild card in here, but he's got Jones and Michael Thomas, which should be stalwarts. Rudolph could have a nice day against the Saints, and Gore against the Rams probably isn't the best. On the other side of the ball with Iksan, Kirk Cousins is going to be slinging it all day against Philadelphia.
100%.
Miller against Jacksonville, you'd think Houston are going to try and salt that game away with a good ground game. Yep. Dallas is Elliott is currently in the lineup for Dallas. He should be playing, so you would think he'll do
might
pretty
as well
good.
Get some value out of your first round pick.
Yeah, exactly. Nelson's playing Seattle though, which is going to be a tough assignment.
100%.
Sanders is playing the Chargers, who have an underrated secondary, I think it's fair to say. Kelsey against New England, again, it'll be interesting to see how he does, but he should be okay. And then Blunt's against Washington. Again, it's another wild card. We'll see how he is. It's a pretty tight matchup. There are some things that are pretty good, but there's a lot of variables in here. And I'm actually going to go with Iksan, just on the basis that with Pakistan, we have those variables in Lynch and McCaffrey. We have no idea what's going to happen. Gore in the flex is not ideal without luck. And then Prescott could struggle against the Giants, whereas I think that there's more safer plays on Iksan's side of the game.
I agree with you.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't think Pat has the strength in that team. I think playing Gore with Scott Tolzien is a
Finish us out, Phil.
Okay, so this is going to be
marquee matchup.
This is going to the second marquee matchup is the podcast bowl between our two lovely presenters here.
Hey man.
And it's going to be quite an important game. Both teams looking to start off the season strongly.
Yeah.
Forge Flyers looking for a big start and hopefully might be a strong season.
A big start, big middle, and big end would help.
Gridiron Gang has come close to the playoffs the past couple of seasons, looking to get to that stage further. Both teams drafted pretty well. If we start with Forge Flyers, Mariota against Oakland, good matchup there. Lawrence McCoy against the Jets is pretty good. Gurley's pretty good against Indianapolis. What?
LaShawn.
I did realise I said it wrong halfway through. It's the nerves of being on the live
Lawrence
stream.
McCoy.
You got Fitzgerald and Pryor, Eifert and Fournette. I don't like the Fournette play. We don't know how he's going to be like, and we're pretty sure the Jags are going to be terrible. And then Gridiron Gang, they've got this holy trinity going on here. They've got Carson Palmer, they've got Bell and Bryant here. They're going to be stacking up these points. They've got Greg Olsen at tight end. Got Daenerys Thomas at wide receiver. I mean, this is a pretty stacked team right here. They've quietly gone about their business, and they've got some juicy matchups this week.
Could get holier than Mariota, Gurley, and McCoy. Surely, that's holy.
That is holy. Yeah.
I'm not the one giving the
I'm not the one giving the answers.
Well, Mariota, McCoy. I mean, McCoy, we don't really know what's going to happen with him. The offense is going to be a bit,
To be fair, if there's one strength of the Jets, it's I think it's the front seven on defense.
True. Yeah. And Gurley, didn't quite have a great season last time, so we don't really know how he's going to be.
True.
But this could be a close and important game.
Always
but
is.
I think just based on the strength of the squad, I'm going to go with Gridiron Gang on this one.
Ooh, be cool.
But with a less than 5 point difference.
You know what we're going to pick. So there's not much point in that.
Okay. Well, let's put it down. One sentence. Give us your thoughts about this game. Nathan first.
Okay. I think you hit the nail on the head. Gurley, we don't know what we're going to see. I think the running back, almost the Holy Trinity, isn't quite holy this week just because of the matchups. Fournette's playing a tough Texans D. Gurley is on an uninspiring, as of last year, Rams offense. I'm not sure who they're playing this week.
Colts, very soft.
Colts, okay, so that's probably okay.
Yeah.
But then McCoy as well is facing a tough Jets defense. So I think while he's got really good players, the matchups aren't quite as kind this week.
No, I agree. I agree that it's going to be a difficult one because you have key players playing against, from the other side anyway, against some interesting opposition. I think Greg Olsen against San Francisco has the chance to go. I think any first game of the NFL season, as you see in the Premier League in football, big scores happen, and I think that tonight's game, if Brandon Cooks has the chance to cement himself a number one position in that receiving corps. Yes, Gronk's always been there, but he's got a point to prove. So I think that Cooks there is maybe the undercover sort of player that we're going to see. But I also think on the other side of the ball that Terrell Pryor against Philly, that's all the makings of a shootout there in week one. So whatever the other side can do, we can seem to do better or equally match. So it's always close here, and I think it should be a pretty close game.
Yeah.
We should report back next week.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this matchup.
And that is the end of a bumper week one show where we look back at the draft. Just coming in under 100 minutes. Maybe have this one on in the background, folks, when you're driving or something. I don't know. So, thanks for joining us. Go check out the power rankings. They're up. I'm pretty sure Tom's just posted his article during this podcast as well. So, an absolute media dump on a Thursday evening by the LOC network. Good luck for this weekend's games. Make sure you get your lineups in. Phil.
I will be doing it at 5:55 on
You know what?
Sunday.
Actually, I'm going to go ahead and dump people's rosters in now, and then they can go ahead.
I will
and
be
change
doing
that.
my team now. And look ahead for my new logo.
Okay, I will be.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, I see that. I found it pretty funny actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go get your lineups in. Make sure it's not a Bucks or a Miami player. I will stress that right now because the game has been moved. They will play 16 games, so don't worry about that. It just won't be this week. And the only other thing to say is best of luck. Fantasy is here. Join us on Sunday if you're around. We'll see you there. Good luck. And we'll be back next week. Goodbye.
See you later, guys.
Just 50 minutes less.
Certainly.